Hi, and welcome to another episode of When We Are in Need.
Last of Us.
Yeah, that.
Last of Us, episode 8. When We Are in Need.
Indeed.
Yeah.
My name is Lance.
I'm Nick.
I think I'm Amber.
Yeah. So, you probably noticing that these episodes came out on top of each other, and they did, because,
That's
you know.
okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Sometimes we have lives.
yes, we were in need of a break.
We were in need of sleep.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
And by we mean Nick.
Yes, I was sick.
yeah, he had the cordyceps, but he got better. Oh God. Anyways,
All right, well, I gotta go barricade myself into my bedroom with my child.
it's
was
fine.
Nice knowing y'all.
It's fine. So, in this so in this episode, we get more of Joel being sick and Ellie trying to provide for him,
Yes.
and the crazy hijinks that ensue.
Yes.
Yep. Crazy hijinks or just crazy cult cannibals.
Crazy, comma, hijinks.
Hey.
There's crazy and there's hijinks.
When the guy dropped the pan off, he went, "It's venison."
It's like, hey, look, I brought some venison. And then the deer comes. It's like, sure it is, buddy.
Premeditated cut meat.
Yeah, we'll bury your father when it gets warmer outside.
Oh man, that meat had to be so tender.
Now Joel did tenderize it first.
No shit. Yeah, he really did.
Now he chucked him out and snapped his neck. But still.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, no adrenaline. That's, I think, what, does it work with humans the same as it does in deer? Oh, okay. Well, it's neither here nor there. So, guys, what did we think of the episode?
I liked it.
It was pretty good.
It was a good action episode. I think it did really well at informing how friggin' crazy this world really is. The nice preacher man was a rapey preacher cannibal.
It wasn't rapey until
But
the
he
end.
had to do. No, he
Was rapey from the start.
Yeah, he had all of that shit. Like, it's like, no, leave her alive. I'm like, I know what he wants her for.
But, you know, I mean, he could have been on the level.
You could tell he wasn't when he went. Like, at first you're like, okay, he doesn't seem that bad, but then he goes back and he smacks the girl down and says,
I
don't
thought
talk
he
bad
was
about your father."
creepy from the moment
he's
they
creepy.
first introduced him, and he went to talk to the girl who was sobbing, and to me, I'm like, creepy,
Yeah,
creepy.
they all
My creep alert as a girl went off immediately with
So
him.
I'll tell you why I'm saying what I'm saying. In every single cult that they've had, in the studies of like where they started and where they got to, is like every single leader has to escalate what's going on to keep his people interested, because the second they don't believe in the mission or they're no longer interested is when they start falling away. That dude is losing his people because they were hungry, and he's still trying to keep them with the word, and then he could see by their eyes, just like, oh, I've given this sermon time and time again. You know, the next thing I'm going to say is, when he hit the girl, like, I thought that it was playing from the angle of, you know, you're going to get your revenge, but, you know, if you're coming out bloodthirsty, then we're no better than them.
See, I didn't get that.
See, I took it in that direction only for the fact of, it seemed like he was kind of losing grip, and a lot of his people started talking back, and if he wanted to maintain the leader status.
I mean, there could have been some of that, but I felt more of like it was the you will listen. You are women were all in subservient positions in that facility from the first scene that they showed him when he was preaching. Before we knew about the venison, before he smacked her, which was when it was serving the venison, that first scene where they're just praying and she's wanting to know when they're going to be able to bury her father, it was very clear women are in a subservient position. There was there was a disproportionate amount of men to women, as it seemed, and it was like very clear that this is not a healthy environment.
Yeah.
my creep radar went off immediately.
Yeah, I just saw it as a guy who was losing control of his flock. The people, like, they did a really good job as far as casting in this episode, because everyone was skinny as shit.
Yeah.
Like, their teeth were all fucking, like, rotting out of their head because of malnutrition. Like, I thought a lot of the casting was fantastic. But
I especially like the fact that Joel got cast in this episode to be part of the cannibals. I mean, Troy Baker, not Joel.
See, and I didn't pick up on that at first.
Did you not, like, when we sat there and, like, it showed him, like, oh, Troy Baker, did you not hear me say that?
See, I heard you say that, but then it just kind of rolled past me, and then he started talking, and then y'all made another joke about it, and then it dawned on me.
I was like, hey, look, it's Joel.
Like, I don't know what they, like, I played the game. I don't know what the voice actors, the body actors, I didn't know what they looked like. I know what Troy Baker looks like now, but he was so skinny.
Troy Baker's skinny. He is a super, but like he was in Legend of Vox Machina on one of their talks review in season 2, because he did a voice in season 2. And so I had just seen him in that, so that really did help inform me going, oh yeah. But he's also for a lot of people who are watching this, he's also leading their podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
So the voice is probably a lot of people who are listening to the podcast between the creators for After the Show. Troy Baker is the host of that podcast, so it's a lot of that dialogue is going. I at least hope that when you see Ashley Johnson, you're going to recognize her, because I do watch Critical Role.
Oh, I'll definitely recognize her. Well, it's like, I didn't know what the voice actor of Tommy looked like. I didn't know what Troy Baker looked like. I definitely know what Ashley Johnson looks like.
Chrissy Seaver. That's who she looks like. She was Chrissy Seaver on Growing Pains. Ashley Johnson was on Growing Pains as the little curly-haired young girl who was the youngest Seaver of the Seaver.
Okay, I did not know that. Good on you.
She was also the waitress in Avengers.
I do remember that.
In the first Avengers film, there's like a TV clip.
Yeah, like at the end of it, like
she's wearing like a orangey color waitress uniform, and yeah, it's Ashley Johnson.
Okay.
Just random tidbits I know.
Make that money. That's awesome.
I don't think you make that money to be in a news feed in an MCU movie.
She had a speaking line. That's a check.
Yeah, it's a check.
Yep.
I don't know if it's a hefty check.
Hey.
I think she makes most of her money by the fact that she's an award-winning voice actress because of The Last of Us.
Yeah, that's where the money is. Not in I was in Avengers once.
Hey man, that's a pretty big boast.
Yeah.
But going back to this creepy cult of rapey dudes who want to eat people.
Which it just made it all the more like. When that first started, I mean, like, the first word of the thing was, like, Revelations, whatever. I'm like, okay, I already hate this. And then, like, it started showing these people, and I'm like, I don't want to see another civilization of people. I'm tired of being introduced to people just to have them be murdered. But in this one, they just made them villains. Yeah. So I'm like, and then Joel got to stab him in the leg and beat their head in the
At least he didn't murder the whole town.
Yeah.
Just the rapey, creepy dude.
Yeah, the rest of them were smart enough to stay in the fucking house.
Yeah, apparently when their central location for gatherings was going up in smoke, nobody went out to help.
Well, they prefer their meat cooked.
This is true.
Yeah, they were smoking the meat that day, apparently. But yeah, I do remember that part of the game where it was basically creeping around, killing everybody in the city, and then you had the big showdown in that restaurant.
Todd's Steakhouse.
Yeah. Yum. I bet that place was like upper end.
Well, that was a resort, so yes.
You think they served like white collar dudes?
They do now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
no, now I guess it's blue collar dudes.
It's more like brown collar dudes. Those guys are like super emaciated.
But like I kind of liked how this showed two sides to the episode, because you had like the first part that was all from like Ellie's point of view. Actually, there was kind of 3 point of view. You had the first part that was Ellie's point of view, where she's out trying to hunt and she encounters them, and David is at least true to his word. Give her the medicine. you know, she had said to take half the meat, but, you know, she left all the meat because that was the smart thing to do, Ellie. Good for you.
Yeah.
But then, you know, then she's going to try and lead them off. So, because, you know, the birds were at least a good... Yeah. She's aware of her surroundings. She might not have heard them, but she was paying attention to everything else in her surroundings. Mm-hmm. So she's fleeing. Rest in peace, sweet poor horse. But we all saw that shot coming a mile away.
I could just see them pointing at it. The meat's running away on the meat.
Yeah.
Get him.
But then, you know, so then it goes away. And then we get like this short POV that's from the villain's perspectives for a while. And I really kind of dug that. Like, we get like the multiple scenes that it's what it would be like if you were the random NPC dude, 20.
You come across the corpse. Huh, what's this? And you look around for a minute. Like, I guess it was nothing. No.
Yeah. I kind of like that because it's like, what would it be like if you were one of the random NPCs that's just like, I'm looking for somebody's here, I'm looking for them, and then they're just slowly getting gagged. I like that kind of spin on it.
And as fast as it was too, like the camera spins and you just see a pip pip, and that was it.
And that's how it was in game too. So I felt like that was like a fun way to kind of cinematically play on gameplay a bit.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Without just showing Pedro Pascal creeping around and going.
I mean, it was fun having the guy creep downstairs and go to try to find him, and then Joel just emerges and stabs him in like right around the collarbone area.
Yeah, and then he's just like, I'm just gonna lay here and watch you die.
Yeah, just
I'm
his
really
eyes as he
out of breath from of this exertion.
Yeah, that part kind of had me at a butt pucker. And how smart was that fucking dude? Like, walking in that house, kind of looking around and just doing that little lean and seeing the door handle behind the thing. It's kind of like, okay. That's what, in the D&D equivalent of a natural 20 spot check?
It wasn't, I would say it was probably, 10, 15? Probably high check?
Yeah, maybe.
At least a 15.
Maybe a 15. Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was going in there for the sole purpose of looking for it, and he saw that there was
signs.
He saw signs that somebody had clearly been in there. Because you have to assume that they have passing knowledge of these houses.
Oh, and also the windows were broken out, so it was snowing in.
Yeah.
So you imagine there's probably snow in the house. Ellie's probably leaving a trail going in and out because she left quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then there was probably horse tracks to the garage.
Yeah.
All I would have known is if all I would have thought is, had it been me, I would have walked in and been like, ugh, this wallpaper, and I would have turned around and left.
Right?
Immediately.
That was atrocious wallpaper.
Well, that's why you're not a cannibal.
Yeah.
I guess you would cut it.
Then you did get, though, some point of views from Joel. Mm-hmm. Not a lot. It mainly focused mostly on Ellie. This was a very strong Ellie episode. Mm-hmm. And I liked how, even though Joel was setting out to rescue her, she saved herself.
Yeah.
And fuck yeah, you go, Ellie. Rage murder every would-be rapist. I'm all for that shit.
And she even got to kill Joel.
She did. She killed Joel. Ellie killed Joel. Oh no.
Which very like she's about to get murdered, and she's like, "Ah, look, I'm infected." And like, you're infected now too. And
I thought that was a brilliant play on her part.
Oh yeah, and just for like, no, it's not. It's been too long. It's like, I don't know, it looks pretty real, and just get that distraction long enough to meet Cleaver.
And butcher knife.
Get yourself a Cleaver and a Troy.
Yeah, it was this episode. I wouldn't say it's my favorite episode of the season, but it was very entertaining.
It was entertaining. It was strong. It showed that Ellie's an annoying 14-year-old. I know so many people who have watched this who just really don't like Ellie. And I get it. Yeah, she's 14-year-old.
She's 14.
She's 14. And it's like, but when you see it there, she's so smart. Mm-hmm. It's not book smart. This is street smart. This is like reading people smart.
It's survival smart.
Yeah, and she's just like, she's like, I need to play along long enough to fuck with him.
To start breaking his fingers to try to get the keys.
Yeah.
No, you have a lot of people who don't like Ellie right now, but wait till about the third episode of the second season. People will be like, keep fucking Ellie! How dare you, motherfucker! Like, yeah, you just wait. But anyways.
I also like in this episode that they didn't really try to build the villains up as being, like, sympathetic.
No, it was nice.
Like they did in Kansas City, to be like, look, these people, I don't care.
Yeah, no.
I want a nice little fun episode where Joel stabs a man in the knee.
Kansas City Karen is the worst part of the Kansas City stuff.
Yeah, it's like it's a nice fun episode where you get to see Joel stab a man in the knee and be like, I'm gonna pop your kneecap off. Like, show me where it is. If your friend doesn't know, then just
This
stab
was the
him.
episode that proved that everybody who survives an apocalypse is just a sociopath.
Yeah.
It's not only that, but I think this is also the put a finer point on it. Joel is not a nice person.
Joel's a bad man.
Joel
and
is bad.
I think they have, they have done a good job of, Joel has told Ellie that. So Joel has told the audience that. Joel has showed the audience that.
Yeah.
Other people have also told Joel and Ellie to tell the audience, you're not a good person. So we're hammering home this point for a reason, everybody, so just pay attention.
Yeah.
Look, he's protecting something, and we like who he's protecting, but he's not nice.
Yeah. And you can like somebody who is a savage, brutal protector, but you have to accept that they're not a good guy necessarily just because you can like somebody but acknowledge that they're a bad person.
Yeah.
Joel is not a good person. Whatever vestige of a good person that Joel was died with Sarah.
Yeah.
And and refinding love through Ellie does not miraculously heal the horrible, terrible person he was.
And this is a tiny bit spoilery, but I will keep it as unspoilery as I can.
Spoiler for what?
What he does at the end of the game is completely sympathetic. I understand what happens.
Joel is sympathetic, but he's a bad person.
Yes. Well, it's like, I don't think anybody gets out of this world with their hands clean.
No.
And that seems to be the point of it. I think the only person that got out of here with their hands clean was Frank.
To survive in the world that they have, good people can't.
No.
Even Maria, Tommy's wife, has probably done and acknowledged that they have done some terrible things to protect that town.
Yeah.
You can't be a nice person. This is not a nice world. Nice people won't survive.
Yeah, even was it Jackson or was it Jacksonville? But like when people show up, even if they're bad people, you still cut them up or like put their heads on pikes or whatever. And
they basically make sure they're killed and throw them in the river so other people realize don't mess with this area.
And you're doing a thing that's good for your people, but you're still essentially putting bodies on spikes and displaying them for the world to realize, like, that's still not a good thing to do.
Yeah.
But
mutilation, desecration, those are all, in, like, D&D terms, evil acts. Mm-hmm. So, you're sitting there going, is it for the greater good? Probably. Does that necessarily make them good people? No.
We're living right now in a world of bastard-coded bastards with bastard filling. And then in this world, the bastards are like mega bastards, which means that good people have to become bastards.
Yeah.
So,
or be surrounded by them.
Yeah, or be eaten. Or be venison.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's... I see what you're saying when it comes to watching shows like that. Everyone goes in raw, no one comes out alive. Mm-hmm. And yes, unless you're in the opening credit, don't get attached to anybody. But
even if you're in the opening credits.
Well, I mean, here's a spoiler for The Walking Dead. Probably one of the nicest people in The Walking Dead that stayed nice was Beth.
Was she the daughter at the farmhouse? Yeah.
The blonde daughter that Daryl always was looking after.
Yeah.
She was probably the nice person. She still died. She might have gotten her hands a little dirty towards the end, but even then, I don't think she really ever did. She stayed very wholesome and very sweet, and she was constantly having to be protected. To the point where their strongest protector was, like, hovering over her. The only other person who came close to being that nice was Carol, and Carol quit being nice and became a badass.
Yeah,
and she went way off the deep end. That's really the only property you can make strong comparisons to, even though they are very different in a lot of ways. And it's proof though that in these situations, the niceness, you either lose it or you die. There's no in between, because if you are nice like Beth, you will be those girls that are in control by David, where you are subservient baby makers.
Mm-hmm.
because I have a feeling that's all that those women were there for. Because you could hear a baby squalling in the venisons, and when they were serving the food, you could hear a baby crying. Somebody had a child. So to me, it just reinforced that the women in David's flock were just baby makers for those men.
Yeah, well, his flock was about to get away from him anyways, because most of the stuff he was saying they were ignoring. You know, let's bring her back to the city, and the people were just like, end it. You know, put a bullet in her.
Which they were right, as it turned out.
Yeah.
Because a couple of them would have been alive.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, don't fuck with the main characters. Honestly, I would have just been like, hold on, guys. Look at the front of the episode. Hey, she's a named person in this show. We should probably get the fuck out of here, right? Right?
Her name's at the front of the credits. Ours are at the end.
Yeah. Hold on. I got a special thanks. My character doesn't have a name. Guys, we gotta go.
My character's name is Stunt Performer.
Oh, no. We got to go.
Oh, Troy, you're here. So we're going to be safe, right, Troy? No, my name is James. It's not Joel, it's James. Oh, fuck.
Do you get a weapon in this one, Troy? Yeah, I get a rifle, a 9mm, and a butcher knife. And it goes right here.
Equip the butcher knife in the next slot.
What? Yeah, okay, I'm just going to put it right here in this holster on my vest. And it keeps cutting me every time I turn my head. This is so inconvenient. But yeah, it's this, I think... I guess I just didn't read it the same way. I played the game. Mm-hmm. I know what to expect. But still, like, I thought that they kind of made his character somewhat sympathetic.
No.
Like, hopefully that's not sending a message about me to the wide world. But, like, I think it was supposed to be a head fake.
I think, for me, I immediately read it the way I did because I am a girl who lives in today's society, and I have to read every situation as if it could be the worst possible thing for any woman involved.
I read him as he was probably creepy beforehand and not a nice person. And then maybe he found religion, maybe he didn't. But either way, it was a means to control people.
Well, I mean, yes, as soon as you, like, invoke that in the times that they were in, yeah, it could automatically be assumed.
I mean, I immediately started cracking the same joke that Ellie did was, so wait, the world ended and you still believe in that crap? Mm-hmm. And his response was, oh, the world ending is what led me to it. It's like, and you're just an insane, stupid man.
Yeah.
No offense if you're religious, but I'm not.
Yeah.
No, it's to each their own. I don't know. I guess I just didn't read it that way. I knew it was coming. Don't get me wrong. I knew it was coming.
I've never played the game before, and I knew it was coming.
Yeah, but it's just, I don't know. Like, they've taken a few left turns in the show so far, so I was kind of hoping that they would give us a little bit of a right hook. But
no, we had the nice civilization. That was Jackson. They left it. There was not going to be another nice civilization that close to Jackson, especially after Tommy's warning.
Oh, yeah. They even said, like, yeah, don't go south. South is bad. I was like, well, I'm going south. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was hoping they would change it up a little bit because I did not remember the fact of... I knew that Joel got stabbed with the knife, but I had completely forgotten where those dudes came from. So when that turn happened in the show, I was like, did that actually happen in the show? And you're like, yeah, remember with this part? And I was like... Oh, yeah. And then all of a sudden I was like,
he fell on rebarb. He fell on rebarb in the game.
In the game, yes.
It was,
okay.
Yeah. When they were running and they jumped and he fell on a piece of rebarb.
Okay.
And it went.
Yeah, right through him.
Just like in, what was that movie?
Or it's just like Cordelia.
Cordelia, but there was also the movie.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
No, it wasn't Tucker and Dale. It was,
The Forest and God's Creek.
Oh, you're thinking of,
the one with the monster.
Yes, you're thinking of Cloverfield.
Cloverfield, yeah. Cloverfield. Remember the chick's like all super impaled when they finally get to her?
Yeah.
She's super impaled on rebarb when they find... Like, the whole thing is about, I gotta go get my fiance. And then they get there and she's like super impaled on rebarb and they have to pull her off of it.
I don't remember that.
And they did the under the back, like, camera on the floor shot of her coming off of the rebar. She's like... Yeah, that was a good movie.
I don't remember much of it.
It's good.
I just remember I remember that, and I remember the girl blowing up. she got bit by one of the small bugs, and then she goes...
Spoilers. Spoilers.
Cloverfield has been out for like 20 years.
If I had $1 for every single time we've said that about things that we were covering in the past, and still someone's going to go, excuse me, I haven't seen Cloverfield.
That was on my watch list.
Yeah.
I try not to spoil stuff. You never know.
I'm going to leave a comment and tell you if I got spoiled. Bet you it's the first comment.
Every time you say that, it breaks my heart. But yeah, it's...
Someone can beat me to the comment, maybe? I might be busy tomorrow.
So, I think this episode cements the fact that I hope they wrap up the first game in the first season. Because it feels like we could be done with it sooner. Because it's just a slog.
They are barreling to Salt Lake City.
It's also just a slog to watch. How much do you want to watch Joel murder people and get put through the ringer and just suffer and hate? I'm not a writer. I don't want to torture my characters.
There's a lot more.
It is fun sometimes.
There's a lot more storyline in the second game. Yeah. So if this is the breakneck pace that they're setting for the first season,
but if it takes another 2 years for them to make that the next season, and there'll be another 2 years after that for the third season, we might have Last of Us Part 3 by that point.
And they have acknowledged that basically that is in development. They had been holding off saying anything, partly because they wanted to see how the show did, but also partly because they wanted to make sure they had a story worth telling for the third game. Mm-hmm. They didn't want to make a third game just to make a third game. They feel they want to tell stories worth telling, and so they wanted to make sure that they had a sufficient story to tell. But with regards to this, I feel like they're going to get the Salt Lake. We're going to get the resolution of the first game. And then it's going to set up for a second one. And then all the stuff that you were mentioning that you feel like they're probably going to omit can easily be added into as flashbacks or points. Because without being able to discuss why, there will be many times and many moments that will be able to serve as flashback points in the second season if the first season ends where we assume it's going to.
Yeah.
There will be plenty of reasons for Ellie to have flashbacks, for other characters to have flashbacks. So it can inform...
future choices she makes or whatever.
Yeah.
Essentially be like the last episode, was it Left Behind?
Because honestly, the episodes that started with the flashbacks the flashbacks were always very informative and like some of the strongest scenes, because like, you know, obviously the 1960s, 1970s talk show was a really powerful scene. The flashback to Indonesia was a powerful scene. You know, obviously the entirety of the Bill and Frank storyline was mostly a flashback, and it was a really great, strong writing. And so they have shown they can tell really good flashback stories and have them serve function.
I just if it continues on the path that is, I can't.
Yeah,
but
talking about the future is very spoilery.
But also, it might be nice to have a show that's not sitting there going, let's turn this into a cash cow and try to write 12 seasons off of what should be 5.
I think 9/10 episodes is a good pace for a game, because that's essentially 9-10 hours, and that's about as much story as you get in a game. The rest of the games are usually gameplay.
Yeah.
And if you
exploration.
If you cut out all the gameplay,
paused on the game menu,
and turn that gameplay into a few action scenes, and then put the story around it, you probably could fit that in a season. And then you just have to cut out the little bits that you want to cut out and add in bits you want to add in.
If this show was based off of how he played the game, there would be about 7 hours of just paused action as he just put it into like a menu and just walked away.
Not only that, but there'd be no sound because I shivved everything in the game unless they made me shoot it. I shivved everything. So,
just like that guy in the basement.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, as soon as that part happened and they were like laying beside, like the only thing I could think was, yeah, this feels right. This feels right.
Was that a fatality in the game? Sneak up behind someone, dagger down?
I think that was more of how Ellie killed.
Yeah. Well, she had the switchblade. They haven't been making the shanks because the shanks are basically just shaved metal.
Yeah. But he's got.
But yeah,
she's got switchblade.
that was. I think Joel's takedowns were more of like grabbing people, breaking necks, stuff like that. But like Ellie, yeah, she would like basically grab onto people and she'd be like, tip, 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 tip. Shh, 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 shh.
Or apparently super cleaver.
Yeah, well, I mean.
Ellie is a murder hobo. The show is proving that she's a murder hobo. In the game, you could be like, "Oh, that was just how I played her." No, she's a murder hobo.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be a murder hobo to survive, but
especially as a woman in the apocalypse.
I can protect you. I can. Oh, you can protect me. You can make sure that I'm okay. And then I can make sure that you heal this broke finger. What broke finger? This fucking broke finger, bitch. Like, yeah, she's crazy, but I love her. She's awesome. Like, and I could not have done better casting. Like,
no, Bella Ramsey has been amazing.
Little Lady Mormont as Ellie. Like, that's just good stuff. And that brings me to my next point. I don't want them to rush it because I know in Game of Thrones they rushed the storyline in Game of Thrones, and everyone was like, you could have taken another season and gotten so much out of this book. But they're books. I understand that they're meatier, and there's a lot more stuff to tell in it. But it's just, I don't know.
Well, if they're meteor, we better call NASA.
Meteor? Meaty?
But he took a page out of the no pun
more
intended book.
More voluminous. No, I can't.
Voluminous? Now you've screwed me up.
Voluminous.
More
voluptuous.
Oh. And just so you know, the entirety of the time that we were watching this episode, the puns were plentiful. Especially once we all were like, yeah, they're totally cannibals.
Just screw these guys.
Every time there was anything that looked like meat or could almost sounded like the word meat, there was a meat pun. Yeah. It's meat!
Just follow me.
I can't remember the one I said, but I thought that was pretty good. Oh, well. Must not have been that great.
It's all cannibal jokes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. Anyways,
Oops, all cannibals.
All cannibals.
It's just like, it's venison, and they were like, sure.
I liked how when they were serving, like, everyone got, like, these tiny little portions.
And he got like a of meat.
Which meant he was eating the lion's share of other people.
Yeah, that's cults.
I'm going to sit down at the table and eat your dad. Your dad's delicious.
Enjoy. And he should have been thanking Joel. Hey, but we needed something to eat, and Joel provided.
Joel is God.
Mm-hmm.
Joel, man. But yeah, it's this was if this is the episode before the end of the season,
the penultimate episode.
Yeah, then yeah, it was
a good episode. It was a fun episode, even though it was a brutal episode.
And it was fun to watch Joel cut loose and cut into people.
I liked how he was cutting loose and he still was all effed up. Yeah. And they didn't make it seem like he wasn't. Like, he was hobbling. This was not an easy endeavor, but he was basically like, I have to just pretend that I'm fine. And also, is that how you administer penicillin? Because I was like, I don't know
penicillin here?
It's like...
Not a doctor.
I'm like, that was very worrisome to me. It's like, I don't know that you're supposed to, like, I get it. That, yeah, you probably do inject it into it, but it's like...
All the penicillin I've ever taken has been in pill form.
I know. So I'm just like...
So let's see. How much do I administer? The whole bottle sounds right.
You need to be better now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just like, I was like, I don't know that she's administering it properly. He obviously wasn't cleaning the syringe in between.
Yeah. And it was obviously magic because the next morning... Perfect.
Oh, it's video game logic. Honestly, if it was video game logic, she should have been like... And John should have been like... Okay, let's go.
If it was a video game, he just pushed on it. Duck behind cover back. Okay. All right.
What we don't see is, like 3 months later, Joel gets a test and he's got like hepatitis, HIV, all because she didn't get a clean needle.
I mean, I guess it's better than dying right there and then.
Hey, man. All I know is that if that's true, what you said, when the cordyceps are like, you know what, I'll wait and eat the next guy. Thanks, though. I appreciate it.
How about we get you a little test before I start jumping into you?
Ooh, are you safe? All right, is there anything else to cover on this one?
No, I'm looking forward to next week. We'll wrap this up. I'm ready for it to be done. It's been fun. I'd like the show to be over.
Well, you heard it here first. You'd like the show to be over.
It's the let's just try to wreck you emotionally show, and I'm not into those as a huge amount. They're good, they're entertaining, they're well made, but they drain you emotionally. It's kind of like Life is Strange. I love that game. I played it once because it wrecked me, and I don't need to be.
I never got past chapter 1. I played all of chapter 1, and I was like, I don't know that I want to play this game. I've already lived life as a teenage girl, and this was too close to home of like reliving that for a good bit. And I'm like, I'm good.
And also all the time rewinding that you used to do.
Well, no, but like the opening episode, there's a lot of her getting bullied and then having to deal with all the crap at school. It's like, I have lived that. I have lived life as a teenage girl. I didn't need it. I was like, so I just couldn't get into it because it's just like. Sometimes when that kind of stuff is just like it's too close to home, I guess.
It's good. But it's there to like take your emotions and be like,
hey man,
I don't need it.
These are training videos for us for like 5 or 6 years from now. Like you need to watch these things so you can understand how the way the world works, so we can survive. So whenever I drive by your house and pick your ass up,
you'll know how to time rewind. Apparently,
no, I'm talking about The Last of Us.
If that world comes to pass, I've got a way out downstairs because I'm not living through it.
No, I'm driving my truck up. You're hopping in the back. We're gonna go find a Walmart somewhere in like Lower Virginia, Upper North Carolina-ish area, and we're just gonna chill. And
I will have eaten way too many baked goods and will be fucked. So that's what this show has taught me. Yeah,
I'll be one of the first ones because I'll have made a sandwich and be like, this sandwich tastes funny.
Oh, well.
I'm not making something else. That's wasted food I paid for.
This just in. Don't eat flour products.
It's half gone.
Don't eat flour. No, is that Flour or Flower? Because...
Who eats dandelions?
Yeah, you're eating your sandwich and you look out in the front yard and look at the roses. I'm not going to eat those.
But they do use flowers in some cooking, so it's like you got to be specific if you're just going to use the term flower. It's a homophone for a reason. That's your word for the day, gentle viewers. Homophone.
All right, I don't even know what it means. Ever use homophone in a sentence?
I will.
I'm so confused right now. Is that where you call home? Home phone?
Yeah, that's what E.T. did. He homed a phone.
Oh, homed a phone. Okay, cool. Got it.
E.T. home phone.
And this is what happens when I'm up past my bedtime.
Yeah.
Speaking of that.
Is there anything else we want to add to this?
I don't think so. I think we pretty much covered all the broad strokes. We'll see you next week for the last episode.
Yeah, next week we'll cover the last episode and then our season. I guess we'll finally rate the season.
Yeah, we'll rate the season.
As a whole.
We'll figure out if we're going to do it at the beginning of the episode or at the end of the episode.
Probably at the end.
Probably at the end. So at this point in time, like, spoilers for anything that's in the show or into the game up to that point. So be ready for it.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a feeling, Lance, you're going to get to spoil all of Game 1 next week.
Yeah, if I could remember everything at Game 1.
Don't worry, I remember for you.
All right. See you next week, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.